before climbing up to the pulpit are all missing. The traditional form of preparing for the worship is suddenly gone to a major extent. Economic context, if you then we see the economic context. Next. Economic context, the first of all, the fall of economy, the fall of national GDP projects on the fall of economic country, and we have seen already in the case of India. Although the recent one is mostly credited to the COVID-19 impact in all other parts also in the globe, unemployment is another concern. Huge numbers of jobs have been cut in all private sectors, particularly in production, labor force, IT, transport, sales, etc., causing to the growing numbers of unemployment in our country. Increase of the poverty. The Indian government declared 80 crores or 800 million of people in India out of 130 crore are being provided with free food under Prime Minister Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. People have lost their job, income, and people who have been already living below poverty line. 80 crores or 800 millions. That's a huge number. You come to consumerism and market price. Market price is consumables are skyrocketing already. Increased taxation on consumerism also there. Now the economic stress also affecting the church and ministry. Several Christian NGOs are either inactive or closed. Many rural churches largely dependent on tithe and offerings have no income to take care of the pastors of their church workers. Maybe some of you can put your mic on silent. Yeah. So then we come to the economic context. We also have the political context in challenges, what is all happening. In the political context, there are a lot of things are happening. Number one is autocracy or falling of democracy. In some countries, you call it military regime. Autocracy is just the opposite of democracy, whether it is the military regime under Min Aung Hlaing of Myanmar or even within the democratic system where all judicial, executive, legislative along with the public media is controlled. A Sweden-based independent institution by name BDEM Institute has termed India no longer a democracy but electoral autocracy. No longer a democracy but electoral autocracy, which means if you capture the election, you control the country. So that's what it means. This has been reflecting now in India's policy making, that is process. Similarly, communism in North Korea or China or more of the autocratic people where people freedom is restricted. Secondly, we see the migrant life and the refugees. Migrant issues are all around. Migrants due to conflict, war or ethnic cleansing. Asia's Development Bank, Asian Economic Integration reports that Asia remains the world's largest continental source for international migrants, which is above 87 million. Farmer protest in India, a struggle that is seen within labor, production, marketization and law. Labor, production, marketization and law. The three numbers of farmers bill passed amidst the pandemic in India are retaliated as the bill suspected to have supporting to the capitalist, and farmers would eventually cannot sell their products other than the capitalist. The rise of communalism, this is another big issue that we are dealing with in India. Freedom of Religion Act, otherwise known as anti-conversion laws, are becoming more stringent during the recent years. Presently, there are 8 Indian states have anti-conversion laws. Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, and Uttarakhand. To these, some of the recent developments are Love Jihad. I think I'm familiar with you. The Love Jihad bills on inter-religious marriage conspiracy theory is another area to stop religious conversion primarily from Hinduism to Islam. States taken lead in the amendment of anti-conversion laws that added marriage as a means of conversion are Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, and other states which are considering Karnataka and Haryana. Growing number of atrocities in Christians and Muslims in pretext to Hindu nationalism that you see in India. The Persecution Relief of India reported that crime against Christians increased by 60% from 2016 to 2019. And so 330 incidents 2016, 440 incidents in 2017, 477 incidents in 18, and 527 incidents in 2019. So there is a growth of 60%. Legislation against cattle slaughter under prevention of cruelty to the animals is in place throughout most of the states and UTIs except Kerala, Goa, West Bengal, and northeastern states of India. However, during the recent times, the laws becoming more stringent. Often there are reports of mob lynching against cattle trade or rumors of cow slaughters. Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, immigration based on faith is restricted. The law that has been strongly opposed by many intellectuals and even by the other countries. Targeting Christian NGOs and cancellation of FCRA, I think many of you are already experiencing that. There are many, but major ones like Compassion India, Justice and Care, Church Auxiliary for Social Action or CASA, Light Foundation, and that supported to the persecuted Christians, etc. Challenging existing allopathy. This is very recent that you have all seen in the news. Challenging existing allopathic treatment as conspiracy to convert into Christianity and promoting Ayurveda as Hindu application of treatment, especially during the COVID, it became a big issue. So this is something that is happening all over India, and you all know about it, and we all are doing ministry in the midst of all these concerns. So what are the opportunities and challenges that we'll be discussing, which we are doing now? Opportunities in new normal has also brought innovating opportunities with limited financial, human, and time resources. All of you who have attended the inaugural session, there was a beautiful presentation by Reverend Dr. Benjamin Chan, that how he explained so well that how we are doing ministry in the new normal. So the greatest gift during the new normal is digital media or the social media. While digital media largely make a difference at the workplace, limiting transportation, formal office setup, physical meetings to virtual, it created an opportunity to achieve more with less inputs. It saves time and cost. Zoom, Team, Meet, they could make much difference, and we all have been using it. Social media like Facebook, Telegram, WhatsApp, all of us closer with regular interaction, individual and personal care, counseling to the extent of helping each other. Many of you may be or may not be aware about crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is that people donate to others who do not even know that to whom they are giving, or do not have any personal information. So crowdfunding for individual needs, healthcare, community needs are saving lives. Many people are generously contributing for the cause of others without knowing them personally. The use of online counseling becoming more prominent in responding to the psychological needs of the people, and we have been organizing seminars on that. So you can see that one seminar I put over here that you can take part. It's coming up on the 13th of August. This is actually the second one. It is in collaboration with Asia Pacific Baptist Aid. We are organizing a seminar coping with most of the COVID. And so this is something that you can see. Virtual church could replace the physical church for those who could use it, and also changing the traditional understanding of church with properties, buildings, boundaries, and spiritual understanding of church as the spiritual fellowship in the body of Christ. Some of the ongoing ministries and mission of the church can relate to the innovative approach of new normal are online prayers. You see over there, the Thursday national prayers. The India Mission Coordination Committee organized a Thursday national prayer every Thursday. So people join in offline and people join online. Those who cannot join online, they join offline. Online worships we have been having. We conducted several United Baptist worship in India that brings the people together. Online Bible studies, we are conducting online Bible studies regularly every week. Learning theology online, what we are doing here is learning theology online, and the publication, digital publication like periodical devotionals, these are digital, no more with the paper based publication, but it comes on your WhatsApp, it comes on your email, so you can read it in a PDF format. So these are making impacts. So we have been all doing this thing. So counseling and program for the psychosocial aspects, we just I have shared already. Evangelism and church planting. How do you do evangelism when you are in lockdown? You cannot move. Evangelism are not new and they are already in practice for many years now. But now the recent ones are mobile apps for evangelism. I can give you some example like Back to the Bible introduced a app called Go Tandem. They can give you the permission to customize the app on your church name, on your organization name, and you can use it for evangelism. That's a wonderful app. So there are many, like Campus Crusade also started something called My Crew, and there are many others. Radio is still an effective tool for evangelism, still in many areas. And for some of our programs, we still depend on radio, especially in the area of anti-human trafficking. We have used radio as a channel to reach out many people in West Bengal, because people in West Bengal still use radio, and that is to bring awareness that we could still use. Website, YouTube channel, podcast. Many of you may not be familiar with podcast, are becoming effective tools and are being used. We use YouTube premieres for our worship or YouTube videos to see it later. Podcast is not very much used in India, but being used more in the West. It is similar like YouTube, but we use it as a recorded versions to play. So something is recorded early and then you can play it. So that is also being used. Even for the ministry, many people are already using podcast, and it comes with Apple, but you can also Android. You can also download an Android. Ministry of Caring and Sharing. We have been engaged with large relief work in all over India. We collaborated the relief work with Asia Pacific Baptist Aid, and then International Ministries of the American Baptist Churches, India Mission Coordination Committee. So in spite of all risks and challenges, the medical ministries are very active. Relief, individual churches, faith-based organizations are all encouraged. Sorry, I've missed the page to share. Yeah. Yeah. So sharing of Ministry of Caring and Sharing. This is where we are. Okay. Sharing of this, along with the financial resources, churches are engaged in providing dry food, cooked food, opening up their places for COVID care centers. Many of the churches turned their schools, English medium schools or other schools they have, our administrative buildings into COVID care centers. Many of our Baptist churches are already doing that. And one of the hotels in Delhi, they opened up their hotel as a community COVID care center, which we are partnering together, IMCC, India Mission Coordination Committee, Asia Pacific Baptist Aid, and the American Baptist International Ministries. So some of the buildings are used as isolation centers or quarantine centers. The church administration and mission, that is another area. The church association or church council business meetings are held virtually. Much of the church mission administration is now operated online. For the past 2 consecutive years, the Baptist World Alliance having online general council committee or commission meetings. And this year, the Baptist World Alliance had the first virtual BWA Congress recently. So even if the situation has changed, but there are also opportunities that could be used. This is what we have been engaged with. Finally, I would like to share with you a scripture portion. from Ephesians chapter 1, verse 18. I pray that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened, so that you will know what is the hope of its calling, what are the riches of the glory of its inheritance in the saints. So we could use this situation, and we could take advantage of the situation. No matter how adverse it is, the Lord will open our eyes of our hearts that it may be enlightened. Then when we know about our calling, you will all join in this innovative process. Thank you very much for this opportunity. God bless you all.
Thank you, Reverend Samaresh. We will come back to you after the presentation by everybody. I think we are in a full strength, 222, that means 222. And I would like to welcome friends from Nepal, friends from Myanmar, big number are here. And also I want to extend a special welcome to International Ministry of the American Baptist Churches. Many of them are here. And also Asian American Baptist Alliance, who are also joining. So you are all welcome to this webinar meet. And now we move on to Nepal. Reverend Vijay is here, and may I invite him to make the presentation. Reverend Vijay, do you want me to share, or you will share the?
Are you sharing my file?
Yeah.
Yes. If you share, it's okay.
No, you share.
Okay, I have to share.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. What is? Just a minute, okay?
Please, everybody mute. Yeah, it has come.
Okay. Nice to meet you all. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from Nepal Baptist Church Council. On behalf of Nepal Baptist Church Council, I would like to welcome our presentation. My presentation is very simple. Thank you for Wati sir for providing me such kinds of opportunity to share about our council and BCC's ministry. And thank you for everyone for this meeting. Nepal Baptist Church Council, brief history is here. It was started in 1993, April 11, with 8 local Baptist churches across the Nepal. NBCC is working in the field of mission and evangelism, discipleship, church planting, leadership development, social work, and building the leadership capacity of local Baptist churches to make healthy missionary churches for the fulfillment of the Great Commission. NBCC has now 254 churches, 217 fellowships, means mission points, 6 ministry departments, mission and evangelism department, education department, social department. Social department is registered in the government of Nepal. Women department, youth department, and children department. 4 provincial Baptist Church Association we have, and 224 ordained pastor and minister with 22,397 baptized members until 2020. So COVID-19 situation in Nepal Nepal is presently suffering from the second phase of the COVID-19 pandemic. Sorry. Every day more than 2,500 people are tested corona positive, and the number of deaths is also increasing dreadfully. The infection rate is still more than 22% every day. It has been almost 90 days since the whole country is going through a smart lockdown, and the government has issued a warning order in many districts. With this, the general public and middle class families are starving from the daily foods. Nepal government has started a vaccination program since January 27, 2021 through the vaccine aids from the countries like China, India, Japan, and America. However, that is not sufficient for the country. COVID-19 situation in Nepal is today's positive cases is 6,80,556 and recover 6,43,615, and dead people is 9,713. Vaccinated received 65 lakh 82,850. In first dose were taken 33 lakh 8,730, and second dose 12 lakh 80.
You are muted. You are muted.
Sorry. There are immediate needs for life-saving support such as tarpaulin for emergency shelter, safe drinking water, and ready-to-eat food. Moreover, the COVID-19 pandemic further worsened the situation. There was a high risk of COVID-19 transmission to the people affected by floods, landslides, as well as staff and volunteers involved in the response. Likewise, logistics, procurements, and transportation of relief materials were challenging due to restriction on the movement of the vehicle, as well as a prohibitory order in some districts. Therefore, kindly pray for Nepal, for victims and their families also. How NBCC is responding in COVID-19? In this pandemic, NBCC is executing some relief programs, mainly food and hygiene kits, distribution in the local church and affected areas. Likewise, our social department MCDS is also taking initiative and working together with local government to fight against the COVID-19 and providing masks, gloves, sanitizer, thermal gun, oxygen cylinder, oxygen constrictor, and PP set, etc. to the health posts and in the community. Along with we are running awareness and stress management training too. So you can see some pictures here. Food relief distribution at Chiton, the hygiene kits packing at NBCC office. Picture is hygiene kits delivering in different churches and communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Vijay, for this effective presentation. There are some questions in the chat box for both Samaresh and then Vijay. Please have a look, and then I will give you time later. Now we go to Myanmar. Adam is here, and I invite him to make the presentation.
Okay, Professor, let me allow to share my PPT.
Yeah, I have already given open.
Okay.
Yeah, it's come.
It's come?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Earlier it was okay.
Okay, wait. Sorry. Screen now. Okay, do you see my PPT?
Yes, very much. Okay, it's gone again.
Okay, Okay, good evening and good morning and good afternoon to all of my friends from around the world. And also thank you very much, my mentor, Professor Wati Longcha, who give me this privileged chance to share what's happening in Myanmar and then how we Myanmar people are doing and responding to COVID-19. So I give a subtitle on the topic of in the era of COVID-21 and COVID-19. Does a good Samaritan exist or exist in Myanmar? So you may all know that what's happening in Myanmar. We are facing double suffering or challenges at the present now. So tonight I'm going to share about before the coup and after the coup, what's happening in Myanmar. So before the coup, the Myanmar indigenous people, have been suffer under the oppression of the gender since after independence in 1948. Since June 9, 2011, the resume civil war between our ethnic people, Kachin Independence Army, and the Guardian Burmese military regime in our state, Kachin state. Now, the whole country, we are facing this. So what the consequences of the civil war? So now you may see the picture. More than 450,000 IDPs throughout Myanmar, 800,000 Rohingya refugees in neighboring country Bangladesh, and then 100,000 ethnic minority from Myanmar who fled their homes to seek refuge in camps along the border. As you may see the picture. So how IDPs and where IDP camps are and how they are surviving. And then this is one of the camps in my own state, how IDPs and my people are living. This is the currently in the current state, our brothers and sisters current indigenous people, they moved to the safe place in the jungle because of the military airstrike. This is my people, how our IDPs are surviving in their daily lives, and then all the way they are eating for, struggling for their foods. So after the coup, how Myanmar people respond this military agenda? There are two ways. The first one is the violent ways, and the second is the violence ways. So the violence way, so currently thousands of Myanmar young people join to the ethnic armed organizations uh, to fight against this military junta with armed forces. And then the second one is now the whole country that people found that we call it PDF. This PDF is totally different with the academic study. This PDF means People Defense Force, PDF. So they found that this force based on territories and ethnicity. Look at the pictures. This PDF has three goals. The first one is to terminate dictators. The second one is to attack administrative officers. And the third one is to protect the civilians. So the second way is the non-violence way. So public demonstrations expressing the people's will. And then civil disobedient movement, this movement is stopping government mechanism. So you may see some pictures in here. So this is my Baptist Association, and most of them are ministers and pastors and ministers. They join this public demonstration. And then this is in my township. You may see on the road, people express their will, no dictatorship. And then this is at night. This is in the remote areas, people expressing their will through the and then by cars, and then this in the water. So you will see we don't accept military coup. This is me and my wife. I also asked this military regime to repent because I don't want them to be judged in the day of the judgment day. So I asked them repent because the kingdom is near. But it seems that they may not hear and they may not listen my voice. So this is a CDM movement. So thousands of these government officials and medical professionals, doctors, including teachers, they joined this CDF movement. So this is my second hometown. So people are expressing their way, support CDM movement. So after the coup now, the coming humanitarian disaster in Myanmar, now already going to 6 months, but I mainly focus on 5 months into the coup. You may see the pictures. In the bed, you may see the Myanmar country map is breathing, and then the COVID virus is frightening, and then this coup is cutting the oxygen pipeline. So military coup in Myanmar is since on February 1, 2021. So now our country, Myanmar people became lawless under this military coup. There's a month of February. After February, the presence on March, we call it merciless because our cries for justice were mercilessly crushed. So you may see the picture. This is a report from the Assistant Association Prison for Prisoners in Burma. This is a confirmed cases, and then how Myanmar people have been killed and arrested. So 931 people have been killed by the military coup, 6,871 arrested, 5,333 still detained, and then 1,963 issue warrant. This is according to the report of AAPP. But I believe that more than that, because some cases we cannot affirm it. And then some people are missing. We don't know where they are, where they have been. So this is I just mentioned from the report of AAPP. So in the coming month of April, cashless, you will see the picture. So many people are queuing in front of the bank and ATM to withdraw their money. So you know that after the military coup, our country banking system has totally collapsed. So now the central bank was run by the gender appointees, the fewer deposits and more withdrawal. So cannot withdraw money as much as you want from your saving at the present. And then so before the coup, $1 was equivalent to 1,350 just after the coup reached to 1,600. So the present, if you want to withdraw your money, you have to pay 10%, not to God, not to the those who change it. So you may see the picture, people are queuing in front of the bank to withdraw their money. So he's in front of the ATM, auto banking. And then the coming of the month of May, now homeless. So violence and aggressive attacking military regime at the ethnic regions, including my state and current state, and now the whole country, forced the people to abandon their homes to the jungle. So thousands of people have fled from our hometown to the jungle. So this last month of June, now airless, you may see many people are lining up to refuel the oxygen tank. So due to COVID-19 pandemic, Myanmar people are facing with oxygen outages because the military junta cut down the oxygen charity sources and control the oxygen factories and company. So the moment you look at this picture, you may think that these military soldiers are helping and carrying these oxygen cylinders. Actually not. The military junta is purposely preventing from getting oxygen, robbing oxygen cylinders and concentrators from both public and private oxygen major supply centers and shutting down the oxygen plants. So you may see this Vanai in front of the one oxygen factory. What is right? What Vanai is that? In this 9 oxygen factory, nobody is allowed to refill the oxygen cylinders without the recommendation of the township military colonial Rangoon district, South Dagong township in Rangoon. And then you will see the name of the major and then phone number. This is how military junta is controlling and the medical supply for the COVID patients. So this military junta uses COVID as a weapon to kill civilians and to cripple the public movement and the pandemic, leading to a nationwide mass scare. So you may see the picture, the one military officer and this children are holding this oxygen tank. So you may see 2 pictures. One is you may see that one's event in US and once in my country, Myanmar. So the same event, the same happened. One is asking, I can breathe. We Myanmar people also asking, we can breathe. But when Geoffrey said, I can breathe, the whole world was shaken. But now, including Myanmar and our countries or our neighbor country, asking we can breathe, but the whole world still keeps silent. So that's why we are asking right to breathe. So you the queue for oxygen in daytime. This is queue for oxygen in nighttime. So this is alarming for Myanmar and the whole world. So even this disease is controlled in other countries. As long as COVID-19 exists in Myanmar, it can spread again to the global pandemic. So every day, thousands of people die due to lack of oxygen in Myanmar. This in the month of July. Now, after gasless, now it comes to lifeless. So I have already mentioned before, thousands of medical professionals and students, they joined CDF movement. And that's why this military regime junta also intentionally targeting these doctors, health workers with bullets, arrests and arrests without valid reasons by the armed forces. So they move and they shifted to the safe side places, safe side zone. So now lack of medical doctors and lack of medical professional. So that's consequences come to, we are now screening for burial. So that body carriers or Myanmar burial volunteer are overtired now because day by day thousands of people are dying at home, on the streets and everywhere. So you will see the pictures. Their bodies are being lined up at Myanmar cemetery. This in Rangoon. You may see the dead bodies in the pictures. See, this is at night time. So these volunteers, workers, charity organizations are carrying dead body by car, by motorbike, and then by car. So this state administration council is committing crime against humanity, causing people to die more than necessary. So according to the Dr. Saim Pumsamang, the president of our country is a land baptized in tears and blood. So what we must do, praying directly and indirectly, this what we are doing now, and then saving contact numbers and addresses of charity organization, those who can give a helping, such as oxygen, blood, ambulances in case of emergency needs. It is actually, I want to encourage all of my friends from Myanmar and church leaders. So give donation to those who are helping in the battlefield of COVID-19, even they are not Christians or not. So what we can do? So start praying and do helping and caring our neighbors, including both Christians and other Christians. Now I need to found church-based healthcare center and educational program in Myanmar. So this is my mother church, donation to their church member. They are helping, they give a helping hand as much as they can. They give eggs, foods, or garlic, onions, and salt, etc. So this is my mother church. I and my brother encouraged the church and founded this Belly Healthcare Center since last 2 months ago. But now it is very helpful and useful for the church members and our neighbors. So we are doing mission, this healing mission as much as we can by our own contribution, by our own church fund. So what we are going to do, the presence in Myanmar, we need more humanitarian agency, helping our neighbors, not by charity, but by love. So I don't do humanitarian works only by proposal or fund of NGOs and INGO, free from proposal and fund addicted. So do humanitarian works by local contributions, including church contributions with our own fund. What Myanmar is facing is that the presence of our churches and some churches, I mean not all, when I ask them or when my friends ask them to do this humanitarian work, the church leaders told them, so we don't have fund. So there's not a good reasons at the present. So what we are going to do, this is for our theologians and scholars to do for the coming future. Transforming ideologies, theologies, and mission from pulpit centered to crisis centered in the margins, from further mission to the nearer mission. So I wish all of you to let the people, those who are in the margin, feel a good story that exists in their community, in their country and this world, but not exist. So may God give you all peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Very much. Thank you so much for this comprehensive presentation. Myanmar is facing two pandemics. One is a military pandemic and then COVID pandemic. And you have really presented the whole picture in a very short but in a very comprehensive way. Adam studied a master's degree at the Yushan Theological College and Seminary in Taiwan. And after returning, he has been very actively involved against the military. And that's why I have been warning him not to be too much involved, to be careful. And I'm happy to see that he's alive without arresting and putting in the jail. So thank you for the presentation. And then I think some friends have already raised some questions. And please have a look at the chat box. And now we move on to Reverend Sentisashi Iyer, the pastor, senior pastor of our Baptist Church Kohima. He will give us the grassroots perspective of what churches are doing at the local level. Cindy. You can.
Everyone, I think I will share my screen now.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, thank you for this time. And then I will just straight away go to the presentations. What is happening and what we are doing now at this time of COVID-19 pandemic, crossroad perspective. So just scenario in Nagaland, the total case load so far is 27,116. Active now is 1,251. And then death is 523. To save time, let me just clarify my reflection in 3 sub-points. The first point is, who are the marginalized community in the context of Nagaland? Second, what we are doing at this time, the time of pandemic. And then third, what did we learn and what can we do in future? So those are the 3 areas which I will just quickly cover for all of us. Marginalized community in an urban situation in Nagaland, Northeast India. In Nagaland, we can picture marginalized community in this manner. Migrant workers, it could be construction workers or any other workers coming from other parts of Indian states, taxi drivers, auto drivers who, because of lockdown, could not earn anything, and they were the only bread earners. Daily wage laborers, like any other states, then people with small shops, hotel owners who are barely managing it, and then it's not been running. Single mothers, single fathers, jobless because of COVID, students in rented houses, etc., are considered as the urban, marginalized community. Marginalized community in rural situation in Nagaland, it can be students without smartphone or internet access, farmers, and then people with poor medical facilities in the most remotest part of Nagaland. COVID is unprecedented. Although everybody knows it, it's never been, there, and then we did not know. Therefore, none of us, whether it's church or civil societies or government or any other NGOs, we were not ready. And all of a sudden, off guard, we were caught. And so, according to the situation, what we are doing now, and I would just like to put the Bible passage, for us the body without the spirit is dead. So faith without works is dead also. James chapter 2, verse 26. Church response. Management and rehabilitation of thousands of returnees from different cities. In the context of Nagaland, thousands of students and then people working in cities outside of Nagaland had to return home in 2020. And then when they returned home, they were not allowed to go to their own respective homes because of the pandemic and because of COVID. They were to quarantine in places which we had to find out ourselves. The government could not manage. Therefore, civil societies, church, everybody came together, and then we started running quarantine centers. Churches and civil societies have constructed also makeshift quarantine centers, and then we started ministering to it. And not only that, providing food, mobilizing volunteers to cook, whereas there were lots of fear among people, but the churches could penetrate, and then we could really reach out and then do together. And then church volunteers were not only for the cooking, but for counseling, for prayer, because lots of people came, and then the lockdown was so sudden. I just want to tell you one story. One student, he actually came to Kauhati by train, and then on the night he landed in Kauhati, the lockdown was declared. He couldn't move out from Kauhati. He was there in Kauhati for 54 days. From there, the lockdown was, unlocked. And then he had to come home. And then straight away was sent to a quarantine center for 15 days. And after which, after finishing the quarantine, institutional quarantine, he was asked to quarantine at home for 15 days. So altogether, he was in this lockdown situation for 72 days. Such kind of a people go through lots of stress, depression, and so, counseling, prayer, online ministry was very important in a situation like that. The church also actually, encourage people who are keeping, who have rented house. The church also has lots of rented house, and then we educate them to, spare people who are poor section, who are staying in the rented house, to waive their rent, which was very effective at that moment. Total lockdown brought about miseries, I believe not to the will to do much, but to the marginalized community, as I pointed out earlier. All of a sudden, construction workers were stranded. And then, the only bread earners who were running a small shop were taxi drivers. Everybody had to just totally, become nowhere to go. So the church had to immediately activate to the extent that we can to do relief work, both financially and literally. For example, just an example, our church alone has invested just in the relief work last year. We invested 39 lakhs rupees on relief work. Likewise, all other churches are really fully involved in such relief works. This year, second wave has been more ruthless. Many migrant workers were unfortunately COVID positive, and they were taken to what we call COVID care centers. I'm looking from a marginalized point of view. People like us, we are what we call the native people, and native people have family members to care of us if we are sick, or we have extra rooms where quarantine facilities at home was possible. But migrant workers, they live in small houses. And once one person get COVID, all the 70 people who are cramped in one particular room are in danger. So they were taken to COVID care centers, and it was not free of cost. So seeing the plight of the migrant workers, Kohima Baptist Pastors Fellowship came together. We have raised 10 lakhs rupees to reach out to the migrant workers, especially to give free food to them. For example, Mok Chung Town Baptist Church also started running COVID center for migrant workers. And I think this was one best way of helping people coming from different parts of India. And then it has been, I would say, a success story from the church point of view. Several groups like Catholics offered their school to be used as COVID-19 care center. We have Jubilee Memorial Center, a retreat center, which has been given freely to use as a quarantine centers for the frontline workers. When we talk about frontline workers, it is not only about the medical persons. Frontline workers were being reached out, especially in Dimapur area, by churches. And frontline workers are people who are working 24 hours in power department because they were asked to supply power 24 hours. Or police who are, giving us lots of support and then trying to control people. And then so many other frontline workers were being reached out by church to share our love and concern, and also to just go in and talk with them. Some churches donated oxygen cylinders, oxygen concentrators to rural medical centers, because in the urban area, we have that facilities, but in the rural areas, they don't have. And so the church came together, or single church at one point of time, like Dimapur Baptist Church, have donated so much of oxygen cylinders for the rural medical centers. Like others, PPE, one of the uniqueness that we have done in Kohima was free coffins for the marginalized poor people. They die like others, but they don't even have a coffin. The family members cannot come or cannot afford. So the Baptist Fellowship came together, collected money, and then free coffins were given. Free ambulance service was also being given to them. And then other programs were being carried out by the church. What we are doing, I'm just giving a report. In the remotest villages, I've been to some of the villages considered to be a very, very remote village. And then like in most of the country, but even in Nagaland, the rural students are literally the victim of the pandemic, I would say. Due to the poor internet connectivity, the online classes are not at all conducted. Even when there were regular class, they were far behind the people studying in urban places. But when the COVID came, in the urban places, towns and cities, online classes are being done well. But when they were, far behind, and then the pandemic came, and then they were literally left out from the mainstream. I do not know how we will do it. I've been there, and I've met certain teachers, and they say 100% no class, no online class. They don't have a smartphone. They don't have a good internet connectivity. So these marginalized children pay the heaviest price as inequalities in learning become widens. One good example, what we do now is there's a very remote place called Insong. And then there is a Christian school there. I've interviewed some of the teachers just a few days back. And then they say that they have 172 students, and then nobody have internet access. And then there's no regular class. So 10 teachers who were earlier missionaries, 10 teachers, they say that we cannot go on like this. So they will write it in their own handwriting and then give the notes, written prepared notes, house to house to the students so that the students will continue their education. And then they will give tests, house to house, they will distribute the paper and then collect it. And then it is 4 or 5 villages comprised of, and then the teachers will go to the villages and then give away the written notes and then collect it. It's a great example, but how many private or government school can do this? Just an example. Farmers, because of lockdown, farmers are unable to sell their vegetables because there is no inter-district vehicle transportations. So much of seasonal fruits are being rotten now because there is no market to sell. So the impact of lockdown and pandemic is more for the farmers and for the marginalized people who are in the periphery. Another challenge commonly faced by the COVID-19 positive person in the rural context is the stigma. Now, in the town and cities, people have accepted that this is just like any other one sickness. So people don't have that rejection and shame. But because of the ignorance, stigma, shame, and rejection is prevalent. And as a result, even if they are sick, even if they suspect themselves that they have COVID positive, they don't want to come and test. Of course, they also don't have the facility to test, but they don't want to come to test. And they arrive late in the hospital. And that's why the mortality rate goes up. Most of them cannot survive because they are coming very late, arriving very late to the hospital. And it happens mostly to the rural community. Lessons learned. Nagaland is predominantly Baptist, and then Baptists are known for their autonomy of local church. We love to do our own way, whether we like it or not. The pandemic has taught us that the best way to conquer a battle as big as COVID is by working together. So we have learned to work together. For example, just some example. In the earlier situation, probably Nagaland Baptist will not do this, but the Dimapur Ao Baptist Church has donated a lakh of rupees to Sikh Gurdwara Dimapur, who were, cooking and distributing food. So the church, moved beyond the boundary of religious line, community line, and then they went and donated like that. Certain village, that's like only Christian village. That means there's no other religion living there, but Christians, donated a truckload or few truckloads of firewood for Hindu cremation in Kohima because of COVID. That was another very significant move in our context, grassroots level, because it's difficult for us to come out of our Christian or of our own denomination, but people coming forward because of this. And then we learn to work together hand in hand with civil societies and other NGOs. Few questions for us to ponder. Will the marginalized students return to classroom again? Because COVID-19 has plunged them into further hardship. So what will be our ministry, especially to the marginalized students? Secondly, is financial or material relief enough? Many churches are doing this financial or other material relief work, but is it enough? Where we need to involve more, mobilize more volunteers, and then personally involved in a pandemic like this. So how do we go about with more involvement, not just a small amount of kind of a donation? Third thing is, are we investing blindly in what the government is supposed to do? This is one area that is, there is a thin line. What the government are supposed to do, I think if the church or other NGOs do it, then are we crossing the line where indirectly encouraging government missionaries to probably involve in more corruption in a time like this? What about COVID-19 orphans ministry? Both mother and father died of COVID. So what would be our ministry for COVID-19 orphan ministry? Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did it for me. Matthew 25:40. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cindy, for this, interesting work that Nagaland Baptist churches are doing. I know because in spite of many limitations, it's very, very encouraging to see how churches are actively involved in diverse ministry, even widening our boundary, and then working with the multi-faith communities. So I'm sure there will be some more questions to you, and then you can refer to the chat box. Now we come to the last presentation, that is Dr. Bamin Tada, the Medical Secretary of the CBCNA, will make a presentation. Cindy, you can exit the sharing, Yeah, you can stop the sharing screen. It is still there.
I think Reverend Santiago has to come out from the screen.
Cindy, you have to exit.
Yeah. Otherwise I can't enter.
Yeah. Is Cindy around?
It's not going out.
Could share screen.
I'm trying to do it, but I cannot.
Yeah, you go to the sharing screen on the top and press there on stop. Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, now you can share.
First of all, I must really thank God for giving me this beautiful opportunity. And previous speakers, 4 of you have spoken so well. And it's an opportunity for me that I have learned quite a lot. And the story of human tragedy, history of achievement, and history of concerns in the country. And then I must thank the Professor Reverend Aketo Sema, General Secretary C.V. Senai, also the Chancellor of NECU, for giving me opportunity. And he asked me to speak, but I did not know the subject. I was just waiting for the subject to prepare. But I think I didn't have much time, but I jotted down a few points. I have structured my talk. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation, but I have a structure. My talk about the disease as such, and the quantum and situation across the world, in the country and Northeastern India. The second, I'll ask the 2 questions I put forward: what C.V. Senai as a whole is doing, how we are responding, and what we are doing today. So I take this opportunity to recall back. It was the 2020 early part. India had the first COVID patient who happened to be a medical student, 3rd-year medical student from Kerala, returning from Wuhan, University of Medical Sciences, with contracted COVID. He was the first COVID patient in our country. And he was cured and treated. And just recently, he was retested again. She was again found positive. And this is what actually the alarming situation. She has taken 2 doses of vaccine also. So even then, Indian Council of Medical Research had, for the research purpose, she was called and found out to be positive again. So this, I'm just giving a grim picture. Even cured patient or vaccinated patient can be positive. So we call it SARS-CoV-2 because SARS HN1 was H1N1. Some years back, it also started in China, and popularly known as coronavirus or COVID-19. Swept across the whole world in a matter of few months in 2020. It happened to be originated in one city, but mode, transmission, and any other things which has to be studied, I think that it's a very complex and a perplexed question to the scientific world today. It's a very controversial, I don't want to speak. And it supposed to have started the 17th of December 2019 in the one city, they credited in the meat market. Unexpectedly, it took the pandemic form. Never in the history, this disease has traveled so fast than COVID-19. We can recall back 1918 Spanish flu, which killed around 50 million people. Of course, it lasted for nearly 2 years. And in a very slow pace, it's traveled. But I think the COVID-19 has traveled very, very fast. Within 2-3 months, entire world is affected. And more than 212 countries was affected within 6 months' time. In the history of medical science, it is the first ever recorded. If you see that throughout the world, I think 20 crore people have been affected, killing around 42 lakhs people, 20 crore people infected, and 42 lakhs people were killed. India has happened to be one of the worst affected countries in the world. We have recorded around 3 crore 14 lakhs people and 4 lakhs 22,000 people died till recently. The experts believe that these are underreported in terms of global as well as India, especially India because we don't have the death census, or we call it health intelligence, which is supposed to be tracking the death and the birth. This recording system is not fully implemented. So we do not know how many people, more people would have died. Now, India is reported actually 3% positivity rate, and one time it went up to 17% positivity rate. It is one of the highest in the world. And death rate, they have estimated 1.3% death rate. And one time it went up to 11% death rate in the peak hour. This year is set. So the fluctuation is there, and disease is progressing. And as of now, 23% people have received first dose of vaccine. Only 23%. And only 5.8% people have received a second dose. If you quantify it, out of 1.33 crores people, 133 crores people, the coverage of vaccine is still too meager. Miles to go again to achieve the entire population. This is the challenge I was talking about. Then compounded with the wave system of the disease progression. And first wave was reported in 184 countries in March 2020 to June 2030. First wave, primarily affecting the elderly people with comorbidity. And during that time, scientific community could identify 6 strains, starting the L strain, which was the original from Wuhan. Then S strain was in the USA and Spain. Then B, GR, GH, these are common in Asia and South America and Europe. But slowly this original virus, which is found in Europe and China, started disappearing, giving rise to newer mutation. And this scientific community have been trying to, day and night trying to work just to block the transmission. But to respond to the rapid invasion of the virus, human body secretes an enzyme called cytokinins, which rather facilitate the spread of the virus. So this has compounded one of the biggest issues. Till today, we are not able to solve the problem. Now, first wave has lasted till August last year, Now, second wave starts. The evolution of new variants, and which is affecting both rural and urban, enter in the utmost part of the rural area, affecting the young adult to the adult. And now the third wave has entered, which is affecting children, young people, and adult all. And third wave is primarily due to there are so many variants have been developed. Delta the variant which is evolved in India itself, now which is sweep across to 84 countries in the world. One of the most potential and dangerous form of the variants is supposed to be Delta. So this Delta virus has a characteristic quicker transmissibility, ability to embed the immune system, body immune system, and there is no protection. So that makes it very complicated because it does not respond to the drugs. And as such, as of till today, we don't have an accurate form of medicine or drugs to counter this virus. We don't have medicine till today. Much talk remdesivir, they have now questioning, the scientific community is questioning whether medicine is really working or not. So this is another issue which we have to be, I want to flag today to the learned audience today. This double mutants is again originated in India. This double mutant is related to Delta variants, which is now the 80% of the COVID patients throughout the world is due to the Delta variant, which is double mutants. Now, why it's so easily picked up? One is because suddenly, as Reverend Samaresh has said, the SOP was relaxed. Country faced acute shortage of vaccine. Only till today, 8.5% people only the double dose vaccine was given. Only 23% is single dose. It's a long way to go. Vaccine shortage. Infrastructure deficit. Our hospital became a chaotic condition. Never we dreamed that the onslaught of this COVID pandemic is going to hit. Medical men or planners, politicians, we never prepared for such eventuality. Then morale of the health workers were very much down. They have the ethical issue because they cannot give what we should give to the patient. You talk about medicine, you talk about less of oxygen, you talk about there's no proper medicine, you talk about infrastructure and ICU, except the few top hospitals in the country. The pitiable condition, ICU, and to deal with the complicated COVID cases. And then, as Reverend Samaresh said, the political, issues comes up, the power, and then religious involvement. You see that so many things happen. These are the few things which compounded the past spread of the disease and India has to face the consequences in the month of April, May, until the early part of June. The highest number of deaths ever recorded. Now, I just want to tell it has a tremendous impact of the COVID-19. You see the impact is in the diverse area. We see in the social, psychosocial, economic, politics, education, and so on, whatnot. But impact on health is also to be counted. We have death among the doctors during the first wave. In India itself, 750 doctors died, and all over the world, 2,000 nurses died. During second wave, 798 doctors died, and 1,200 nurses died all over the world. And this is compelled many of our doctors and nurses to resign, primarily due to the moral obligation, due to shortage of manpower, medicine, ICU poor police standard, lack of oxygen, and patient-doctor conflicts, and long overtime work and burnout syndrome, mental fatigue. These are the few things which is affected our healthcare providers, doctors and nurses primarily. Not to talk about other frontline COVID warriors, as somebody say, like electrician, policemen, and many other volunteers. So, because of COVID, there is emergence of various forms of diseases also. Psychosocial imbalance, neurovascular disorder. We see the deadly black fungus infections we found. And as per the Oxford studies, 33.6% increase of psychosomatic and neurological disorder after this COVID-19. Anxiety, insomnia, dementia, encephalopathy, Parkinsonism, intracranial hemorrhage, ischemic hemorrhage, suicidal tendency, substance abuse, psychosocial related disease, trafficking is increasing, very alarming situation, and coma and strokes. These are the most remarkable health impact due to the COVID, a study conducted by Oxford University Medical Science. And we also see the post-COVID implications, complications. There's a difficulty in breathing, fatigue, cough, chest pain, fever, diarrhea, dizziness, mood swinging, and change of monthly cycle in women, and anosmia, loss of smell. Now the third wave is already knocking at the door, especially in India. So this is going to be, we can not say that our case detection and incidents are less, because I was talking to Reverend Samaresh, Delhi has gone down said. Government is not testing free today. Previously, it was a free testing. For testing, government is charging. Government is not giving free vaccine. Coupled with they are imposing the lockdown, restriction of movement, and disease has reached to the village area. Village people cannot move to come down to the cities and the better places to get tested. But what I want to say that community infection is at large. We can foresee that the disease might re-emerge in a very bad way in the big cities. Today, the disease has gone to the villages. Diagnostic facilities not available, treatment facilities not available, death has not been recorded, no vaccine facilities. These are the few things which we have to think. We should not be feeling safe that because the reporting of government also is not correct. For example, all the northeastern states are reporting very well. State like Assam is, I think, they scale down the reporting system. I do not know why. Now, if you see the northeastern state, which is, if you ask me, what is northeastern, what is happening in our place? I just want to tell the northeastern state, on an average, the COVID cases are increasing. It is a Delta variant, more virulent, there to be more. So let's see, the Arunachal Pradesh is a small population of 13 lakhs. We have around 46,000 cases and more than 200 people died. Assam has crossed around 4.5 lakhs and around 4,000 people they reported death. Nagaland has reached 27,110 and deaths reported till yesterday is 523. Meghalaya 61,000, that is 1,000 plus. Manipur 93,000, that is around 1,500. Mizoram 32,000, that is around 136, and Tripura 77,800 deaths. These are the situation now in from northeastern side. These are the happening going on. What is government doing? They are SOP, they are regulating. Lockdown is imposed time to time. Vaccination program is going on. Testing asymptomatic cases are there taking on payment basis. And the treatment is also going on. These are the government is doing in our region at present. Then question you ask is, what are you doing at this COVID pandemic time? Council of Baptist Church, which is one of the largest Baptist group, as previous speaker also said, we are in 8,400 churches and 107 associations and 6 conventions, around 1.6 lakhs million members. In CBCNI level, we are quick enough to foresee the situation going to come in a very big way. On 22nd of March 2020, we conducted, we call all the medical superintendent of 6 hospitals. Conducted.
Please, you can limit within 2 minutes.
Yeah. I'm just finishing. We have conducted the COVID preparedness and workshop, and we do in policy guideline, monitoring, coordination with all CBCN hospital, coordination with the convention and churches, liaison with the aid agencies, national, international, and a review from time to time. In hospital level, what we are doing, each hospital, we formed an infection control committee to identify the manpower, resources, and other peripheral requirements. And we carried out diagnosis, COVID vaccination, and COVID care centers. And also we attend the general patients, especially need-based, like delivery, emergency surgery, and medical attention, etc. In convention level, what we do is they give a directive to the church, to the associations, and the problem is identified. Prayers, monetary support, and the physical support is carried out. In the church level, as our Sentisashi IR has already said, it narrated the prayer support to the sick members financially, and other physical support, and the COVID care centers, many of the church and association they started helping the vaccination and case detection and the social and emotional support. These are the activities in church level they take up. Then in individual level, we see the great role is played. Community level, we find that active community supports, we find that helping the sick people and not only the emotional and physical support, but also financial support, prayers, and other physical support which is required. The community is playing a very, very important role. I think Mr. Iyer, Reverend Iyer has already said that. Then in individual level, we find that prayers, monetary support, materials, like they call about food, other things giving, moral and emotional support. These are the things under CBCNI. If you look around, the CBCNI churches and associations are doing the tremendous work during this COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes.
So we have hardly 13 minutes left, and then so many questions are there. So we don't have time to read the questions. So I give 3 to 4 minutes each to all the speakers. I'm sure you have already seen the question, and I give you time now. Take it only 3 minutes. I'm very sorry to say that, but please, we want to finish on time. So, Samaresh?
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I have taken note of the questions. The first question I would like to deal with, how do you make people known about the facilities for the COVID victims? How do people respond to such facilities provided for COVID victims? How do you motivate general members to this? So the basic thing is we have to build a network, and we do have a network. I work mostly with the Baptist community in India, all over India. So we have the regional leaders, we have the local leaders, and we work through several WhatsApp groups. So what we do is we basically coordinate information and share the information in the group. That is first of bringing information to the people. Secondly, when we plan to do something, so we take ground report from the different parts of India, and where that we can do. We cannot respond to everything, but whatever we can respond, we have responded. So we have the paramedic programs that is going on in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and we have a COVID care center in Delhi. Then there are food relief programs in West Bengal, and there have been a very unique concern, like there are about 85 Baptist pastors who have died of COVID. So we have raised support to provide relief to those families, and And in fact, along with Asia Pacific Baptist Federation and American Baptist International Ministries, there are the Indian churches have come together to share the resources with the widows, and we have reached out to these widows with some kind of relief. We may not know everyone, but then the people who actually connect them. For example, this question was from Dr. Jain, and we did not know that Pastor Barindra Samadar was the pastor of Simulpur Baptist Church in a remote 24 Pargana North. But we were able to reach out to the family, to his wife, and provided COVID relief. So these are the networks that we have developed. That is the first thing. Second question was, rethink of mission in situation of the pandemic. Yes, there are.
You can shorten your answer.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. Rethink. I will not respond to everyone. I'll just say this is the last one probably. So rethinking of mission, yes, very much important, and it's going on already. And mission is all about contextual. Mission is all about to share the good news. Mission is all about to bring life to the people. And how do we do that? So the core of mission does not change, but only our approach and strategy change. And with the available resources, we deal with it. I would leave the other questions are quite general, so I will not handle to that. So with these two questions, I'll stop.
Yeah, no, we will be continuing tomorrow in other classes. So if it is very general, then just leave it out. Now, Vijay, do you have Vijay?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We have also same like Reverend Samren said, we have network, strong network. We are not doing directly in the field. Local churches and district committee find out the people who are needy for food, for other things. Then they submit that data to the association. Then the association gives us all the information, and we pray for them, and we provide whatever we can do through association. Then it goes to district, then it goes to churches, and all the church members involved for the relief work as they can do. First, we have to live ourselves and help to live others. That's why first priority for our local church members, then their neighbors, and who lost their job, who lost their business, who lost their daily wages works. They will be they will receive first our relief materials. So we are conducting awareness program also, awareness leaflets also we have for them to make known about it. And we have Zoom fellowship. We have no physical fellowship. We're praying for them, and no tithe, no offering in the churches, no special offering. That's why we are suffering. But we are doing our best. Flooding also happened in Nepal. That's why COVID-19 is most viral. Then flooding also viral in Nepal. That's why we are responding them also through our local church. They are praying and they are offering whatever they can, and our partner also helping us, BMS, APBF, IM, and other partners also, and churches, individual churches also helping us to respond these kinds of
Okay.
relief work. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Adam has so many questions. He will be speaking to us again on the last day. So Adam can pick up one or two questions and then.
Yes, yes, thank you all for your very challenging questions to me and to all of us. Because of the very limited time to cover all the questions, I want to answer based on my topic. This in the era of COVID-21 and COVID-19, that's a good smarty that exists or exist in our community and in our country. So a good Samaritan for us, especially my country, is that the one who are helping and living together in the margins, where the margins are living. So I want to encourage and I want to alarm all of you that don't trust and don't believe the Levites and the priests, because there will never be a good Samaritan for the people, those who are in margins. So I'm asking my countries and my peoples to be a good Samaritan, because good Samaritans are not Aung San Suu Kyi and her political party, NLD, Nationally for Democracy, and then the present NUG government and ethnic armed organizations, and the church, the political parties, and then religious organizations, the NGO or NGOs, the UN. They will not be our good Samaritans. The truly Samaritans are always living with us. That is Jesus Christ, and who suffer and living together with us in daily lives. These are the peoples of the Myanmar, the civilians of the Myanmar. So I'm very interested in questions for the doing theology for the future or at the present. I have already answered this question to my master thesis defense, and here my professor and my supervisor, Professor Wati Longcha, is here. At that time already defense that for us, for Myanmar, violence is not the only way. Violence is a way for freedom and justice and for the liberation movement. So when we are doing theology, as long as we are concerned about non-violence is only for the liberation movement, as for me, actually not. Violence is also needed when it is necessary. It is depend on where we are living and what we are feeling. So I mean the context. So I believe that we have to consider and think about that for the coming doing theology. Thank you so much. I hope I already answered the questionnaires.
Yeah, thank you. We will be looking forward to your presentation again on the last day. So now we move to Reverend Cindy. Few questions have been raised, but you can just give a summary.
Well, what recommendation do you give? I think individual church can do much, but together can do great. And I think we have to focus on greatness of what we can do. That's one. Secondly, about COVID-19 orphans. Just 2 days back, we were part of one workshop, which is now working on how to handle COVID-19 orphans. It is in a very initial stage, but the model that we are looking at is how did we handle HIV orphans? And then how did we also handle orphans as a result of insurgency in Northeast India? So looking at these two models, we are now working on how do we develop another model which can reach out to orphans out of COVID-19. This is still in an initial stage, but we are working on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Bamin, you have two questions. You can just give
What
us
are the
some.
questions actually? Can you let? What are the questions?
It's in the chat box.
So I can't open the chat. Okay, let me see. Okay, chat box. Okay. enlighten us the current medical situation in our country. The one question is Pratap is asking that in light the current medical situation in the country, the current medical situation in context of the COVID management, I must tell it's absolutely inadequate. With my experience of last 39 years with government in different positions. So we are not prepared till today. And except a few select this thing. Then regarding, I think the treatment of general cases, sickness, the COVID pandemic has affected very bad. So many people with disease, they cannot go to the, so situation is in the quite a bad state, I must tell you. We have no vaccine till today, we have no medicine, and we have no facilities. We could have done it, but I think economy was so poor, so went down so badly, so we couldn't do it. Then another question is current situation. Second is question. See, actually, it is changing mutation, which we call it. Virus is changing its color in the DNA level, molecular level. It changes. So it is very difficult that vaccine, what we take vaccine, is really effective against the disease also. Because now, for example, COVID was, vaccine was produced when there was no mutants. I mean, no Delta mutants or Alpha or Beta mutants. So it was done due to some strains that the USA had actually a B strain. The COVID is actually the US based, London based, Oxford. So I think now we find even after full dose of vaccine also people are developing the disease again. And as I said that even the first case of the COVID case was a Kerala medical student who came back and was treated in Thrissur Hospital Medical College in Kerala, and she was cured and suddenly found out she's still positive again. That's so she has taken the vaccine also. And I think last month, the former president of Indian Medical Association he died, and he took both the doses of the vaccine. So I think the mutation is playing hide and seek, and what vaccine we take also, I don't want to discourage you, but scientifically it's not able to prove that it will be 100% effectiveness. Some protection values for some variants are there. Now, for the mixed variant, I think it will be a bit difficult. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think that's you have covered all the questions. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I think our purpose was to understand the ground reality. What is happening now? What we are doing now? I think on this basis, now we are ready to move on to the issues that we confront in our life, in the church, in the ministry, on different marginal group. So from tomorrow, we will start the class. Myself and Dr. Wanda will take the class, and then we invite all of you to come and join like today. And I want to thank all the facilitators. 5 of them have done very well. They have given the real picture of what is happening around the world. So thank you so much. And God bless you. So sorry that we have exceeded the time, but I think it is worth spending. So let's close with a word of prayer. Let's pray. O God, who suffers pain and died on the cross, we thank you for revealing among the marginalized and the oppressed as God of liberator. Open our eyes to recognize your face in the faces of those who are crying for justice. Open our ears to hear your word in the stories of people in pain. Open our hearts to be bold in witnessing to your longing for justice and peace. We thank you, Lord Jesus. We pray all this in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.